All right, so this is my Special Forces episode 6 review. Um, so it starts off where we left off pretty much um at the end of last episode. So we see Danny walking out. So we don't know yet whether he's staying or going. But Dwight Howard comes out, and I'm sorry, Dwight Howard is such a hero in this episode. First, he gives Danny a pep talk and explains why he's needed. It's not that he needs to be there, but everybody else needs him to be there. And so I thought it was a really sweet pep talk and really getting to Danny's team spirit. This idea that he's been part of a team his whole life. And he even said when they called him back, I mean, he basically gets to back to the camp and he has to immediately go back, but this time for interrogation. Well, they call it tactical questioning, but come on. I mean, the idea is to disorient you, and they're looking at you with stern faces to make you soil yourself. So, yeah, interrogation. And, so Danny opens up, but it's so funny. He said, I can take criticism. Really, Danny? You can handle being yelled at. It didn't look like you handled that well at all. You're used to that? You sure? So he explained that this would have been that he would have joined the army if he didn't get scholarship, and how he was undrafted, and how he had to work so hard to get where he is, and that it was at first all about him and what he could get out of it, but now that he loves the rest of the recruits, he wants to stay for them. Which, are you sure that was your idea, Danny, or Dwight's? But regardless, he decided to stay. And you could see that the staff wanted him to stay. I mean, they were, obviously Billy was pissed that he was insubordinate, but at the same time, they saw potential in Danny. They didn't want Danny to leave. So he goes back and he assures everybody he's staying, which makes everyone thrilled. Unfortunately, Kenya is having problems with her knee. And apparently, this is a recurring thing. So I wonder if she has arthritis like I do, osteoarthritis, which sucks big time. I mean, oh my god. When that thing blows up, yeah, you're done. It's like I don't blame her for having to leave. I really don't, because ugh, it's hard enough to do that stuff with a good knee, but a knee that is arthritic. I don't know if that's her knee condition, but I do know what that's like. So the knee swells up, your good is gone. I mean, the knee isn't moving. It is so stiff. So yeah, I occasionally end up with a hobbit leg, which is really fun. But so Kenya's having issues. Mooch is like, I don't think I have anything left in the tank. I think I've peaked physically. So now we're getting to the real reason he was why Mooch was so willing to do a solidarity quit with Danny. He just wanted an excuse to quit. But now it's getting to the point where, yeah, he just can't wait for somebody else to quit. He just physically can't do it anymore. And So they go to their next challenge. And we do see that the recruits have started getting comfortable. They start having an idea as to the rhythm. So they're able to get undressed as opposed to constantly be in their gear, because you never know when they're going to get called out. So they go out, and Billy names a new voice for the recruits, which, okay, so they don't have the same person voicing for the recruits all the time. I guess every day they pick a new one, or because Piazza is still there. I mean, I understood they had to pick a new one when Jamie Lynn left, but Piazza was still there. But so they discuss what happened previously, and then they send them to the next and start introducing the next task, explaining what in generalities what was going to happen. So they go there, and they have to walk these two poles. Walk along these two poles and walk to the other side, which, again, I expected Gus to do this well, because you do not become an Olympic medalist aerialist without having even a semblance of balance. I mean, of course but he's disappointed me before, so so they start off with I believe it was who, I can't remember who they started. They started with one pass and one fail. And of course, Billy comes up with the best lines again. When Hannah's turn was up, she kept hanging on to the wire to steady herself before the task started. And he just said, "Stop touching the wire, or I'm going to go there and push you off myself." Oh, Billy. Gotta love him. So, most failed the task. Of course, Gus did the task just fine, because, again, I expected it, but he got yelled at because he was being cocky. This man cannot win. Even when he does the task well, he gets yelled at. So, but Hannah was a little uneasy because she did not do the task. And she didn't do the task because, well, I think she grabbed the wire and she fell off. She fell a little bit and, grabbed the pipes and got herself back up, which is a fail. And she was surprised by that. So, and Dwight, I was so pulling for him. I really was. I mean, he was taking, he was really taking baby steps, and you could tell he was not comfortable, but not as much as Mooch. I was really rooting for Mooch. I couldn't believe it. I'm rooting for Mooch. What the hell is happening in this world? So, because you gotta love this man's attitude. He's trying. He keeps saying how he's pushing 60 and blah, blah, blah. And yes, getting older sucks. But, and Billy pointed this out later on when Mooch quit. He goes, "I'm 58 and a half, and I'm, not young anymore." And Billy's like, "I'm 57. So it's not because he's old. It's because he was never fit to begin with, because this was never his world. He was never an athlete. So, of course, age is going to catch up to him more so than it would, say, Billy. Yeah, they're about the same age, but Billy is fit because physical fitness has always been a part of his life. So I really thought that Mooch was going to get across, but the stepping over that ledge or whatever, that ridge, just killed him. And he even said, "My legs are noodles." And Dwight fell, and you're like a baby in a bouncer. Oh my god. So, but that brings up a good question. How did they get down? Were they lowered? How did they get down? So, they went back to camp, and of course, people were discussing what had happened. And Kenya, oh, sweet Kenya, I feel so bad for her because she is terrified of heights. And now I realize the whole point of this is to not look down, but what Mooch was doing, he was looking down. But she killed it, and it was so awesome to watch. You know, you're not supposed to look down. Oh, touch your toes. So much for not looking down. Okay. And Hannah got yelled at for touching her toes before she was told to. Have we never watched Simon Says? They said they're going to tell you directions. Wait for the directions just because you've seen it a million times. So anyway, so that got taken care of, and Mooch was saying that he is hurting all over. And I can imagine, because again, if you're not someone who's physically fit, which Mooch doesn't look like he is, I mean, not like he is, like obese or anything, but he does have a stomach, which, by the way, I think he lost weight, because I swear when we started, his stomach was a bit more pronounced. I mean, not hugely pronounced, but I think he lost weight doing this show. So so they go back and they commiserate amongst themselves, and Mooch decides that he just, he's questioning whether he's going to quit, and he's telling everybody that, that he just doesn't have anything more to give. And so then it comes down to the next challenge. Kenya, it looked like they all had stripped down. So I thought it was night, and I'm like, oh, maybe they're doing 2 days in one. But no, it was still day 6. And Kenya was just trying to take a nap, and her knee was bothering her so much. So they go to their next task, and their next task is to be set on fire. So finally, I'm just too disappointed that Gus didn't make the joke that, I think it was QWERTY made the joke that basically he was a literal flaming fag. Obviously that's something only Gus could have said, but I'm bummed he didn't make that joke. But so they all had to be set on fire, put goop on yourself, put gel all over yourself. They would set you on fire, and then you have to run and put it out. Okay, fine. Now Kenya is freaking out because her knee is hurting so bad. She's like, I cannot do this. Well, she ended up doing it anyway, but Gus was again the clown because they tell him, okay, go on your stomach, you're out, and he's still... What the hell, Gus? So Kenya was just She was just kick-ass. She really was. Mooch was freaking out. I don't know why, because, I mean, he goes, I don't mean to be a child, so at least he knows how he sounds. So that's good. But, so they told them, each and every one, okay, they gave them instructions as to what to do. And, so they all did it. You know, I don't think it would be possible to fail the task. What, you get singed? Would that be a fail? I mean, I don't know what a fail would be in this task. Because either you're on fire and you put the fire out, or I don't know, or you get singed. I mean, and then they would put the fire out, because I highly doubt they would let anyone burn to death. But so everyone passed, and then they had a few minutes to change into their regular, to shower off the gel and to put on their recruitment clothes, and then go to the guards. And almost everybody forgot their freaking watches. Gus forgot his armband, which I would say is even worse, because they actually got their watches back. I wonder if Mooch did, because technically he left before Remy came and gave people their watches back. So I hope they gave Mooch his watch back before he left. But yeah, like I said, Billy pointed out that it's not the age, because Mooch might be 58 and a half, but Billy is 57 and a grandfather. Yes, I go to all their Instagrams, so check them out. And there is this really, really cute interaction where he's interrogating his grandson, who I think was 2 at the time, and it's just so adorable. But anyway, so Mooch leaves. Now, the fact that that was a voluntary withdrawal, okay, I can accept that. But then, it was on to the bee sting, because of so many people not keeping their kits together. So they had to do the bee sting. And maybe they focused on it more this episode, but it seemed more intense than it did the first time around. And so Danny, Gus, and Carly finished first, which this doesn't surprise me at all, because yes, they're all retired athletes, but these 3 are just retired. So they're still in physical, top physical form, because they only just retired, so their bodies didn't have time to get soft, especially since I'm sure they still work out. I highly doubt that they just totally gave up on doing anything physical just because they're not competing anymore. So what surprised me, well, Hannah, she was so sweet. She was so thrilled that she was doing well, because she is the only non-athlete left, which the narrator pointed out, that she's the last non-athlete left. Because Kenya, she tried, and this is where Dwight is still a hero. Dwight tried to help her, put her on the monkey bars, tried to help her through the course, and she's just like, I can't do it. So I don't know if the knee was just so hurting at this point that she couldn't concentrate on actually doing anything else, or if it was just the knowledge that once you get up there and get to the other side of monkey bars, you have to jump down. And, Dwight has to do his own thing. He can't wait for Kenya. So, so she had to pull out. And they called it a voluntary withdrawal. But, dude, she has a knee condition. I mean, when other people hurt themselves, when Kate hurt herself, when she hurt her neck, granted there was a concern it was a broken neck, but still, when she hurt her neck, they took her to medical. Actually, I think they took her straight to the hospital, not even to the medical. Just Dr. Drew went to medical. Why not take Kenya to medical? Maybe they could have done something, or, whether it's just ice it, or, I don't know what they could have done to that would be acceptable, like take take some medication to lower the swelling, to because pain relievers also deal with inflammation. So, give her something to lower the inflammation so it's not the size of a grapefruit. But no, they just told her either you do it or you leave. So she left, and I feel so horrible. And what makes it worse is they called it a voluntary withdrawal. No, it's not. Her body gave up on her. I mean, anybody who's had a swollen knee knows that this isn't just about pushing through. I mean, there is structural damage. That's why the knee swells. There is structural damage there. So this isn't just, oh, I hurt myself just now, I'm going to push through it and then go to medical after the challenge. No, this isn't how it works. So yeah, I was kind of bummed about that. So Kenya is gone. And Piazza and Dwight, they both just barely finished in the time they were supposed to before everybody had to go again. So they just finished. Part of it is because, well, Dwight was helping Kenya, so that's one of the reasons why it was slower. But also, you could see he was beat. So I don't know if, because he's a big guy, I don't know if he's just not getting enough to eat. Or if, I don't know how long he's been retired, so maybe just all this exertion is just wearing on him because he's not used to it. It's definitely that's the case with Piazza. So so they made it just under the wire. And but I swear the narrator said that, okay, we're down to 6. Nobody else is going to leave before, nobody else is going to leave until the end. Wait, what? Why are you telling us this? I mean, because those two were the ones that you wonder, are they going to drop out next? Because they were both so beat. And Piazza was even talking about his elbow, that it felt like it went through a meat grinder. So you kind of don't have that suspense if the narrator is telling you, oh yeah, nobody else leaves. And I'm pretty sure that's what he said. That is so bizarre that he would tell us that. I mean, why? Isn't that part of the show, is to see who makes it to the end? So to say that everyone does, that, yeah, you still want to see what crazy challenges they do, because next week apparently is really crazy. But you also want to see who survives, and if you tell us that they all do, that's one thing that people aren't going to watch for anymore. Let's see if there's anything else I had on this episode that I missed. I think I covered everything for this episode, so I will see you guys next time.